My dad worked in the prison system for over 15 years. When I was a kid, my dad used to share stories from his years working in the prison system. Most of them were way too heavy for kids to hear, but one in particular stuck with me. One night, my dad got called in for overtime. They needed someone to watch a young inmate in the medbay, a 19-year-old who was a suicide risk. My dad said yes, because with 5 kids at home, extra money was always welcome. He spent hours sitting in a stiff office chair, trying to pass the time while this kid screamed and cried non-stop. Dad, I'm sorry, please, over and over again. Finally, my dad couldn't take it anymore. He walked into the cell and asked, "Why are you yelling so much?" The kid, barely more than a teenager, looked up at him with tear-streaked cheeks and said, "I think my dad hates me." Instead of brushing him off, my dad sat down. He told him, "I've got 5 kids. They've done some really stupid things. Things that have made me angry, disappointed, even frustrated beyond belief. But there's nothing they could do that would make me hate them. Nothing. Your dad doesn't hate you. No matter what happened, he still loves you." For the first time, the kid quieted down. My dad stayed with him until he fell asleep. When the sergeant came to relieve him the next morning, he noticed how peaceful it was and asked what happened. My dad explained, and the sergeant told him to check the kid's file before he went home. So he did. That's when he learned the truth. The kid had been diagnosed with severe mental health issues, autism, maybe schizophrenia. One day, his dad came home exhausted after a long shift as a doctor. When the boy demanded attention, his father said, "Let me rest for a couple of hours, and then I'm all yours." But the boy didn't wait. A few hours later, he grabbed a knife from the kitchen and stabbed his father to death. When my dad finished reading, he went back to the sergeant. "I stand by what I told him," he said, then went home. That night, he hugged my mum a little longer, sent us kids off to school, and went to bed. Years later, when he told me the story, I could still see the weight of it in his eyes. Even after everything, that boy was haunted by one question. Did his father still love him? My dad's answer didn't just calm him, it saved him, at least for one more night. Follow for next part.